just too little pride in this area. I think what UKIP brings is hope, is hope, is hope, is hope.
Why did you decide to run in the first place?
I was told to by the Almighty. It's prophesied that I will win the election, yes.
And what is your plan after you're going to be winning the elections? What are your policies?
Basically,
your main policies?
the first thing we will do is reflood the River Wonsum and cut off the Isle of Thanet into from the English, and we will create a sovereign state which will be known as the Afro-Phoenician Caliphate.
Why?
Why? Because we've had enough of the British imperialists. They've basically raped the land completely, and we don't want to be part of that anymore.
Sort it out.
Good for you. Good for you.
Good for us, yes.
Yeah.
Stop the immigration.
Enjoy your beer,
Stop
mate.
the immigration. Sort out British
So
benefits.
is it some sort of common reaction you're having on the streets?
Yes, it does seem so. Yes, it is a common thing. I mean, admittedly, it's
Yes, UKIP, all right.
this is what we're trying to combat, though, the whole British ideology and the so-called patriotism of the English white people.
I mean, the things that we have and the wealth that we enjoy is a result of us stealing things from the rest of the world and setting up unfair trade arrangements with the colonies.
And slavery
And
and
slavery,
exploitation.
exactly.
I've noticed here, I haven't been here for much longer, but I've noticed that a lot of, basically, that UKIP is becoming some sort of working class phenomenon. Do you agree with that or not?
It's drawn in a lot of the poorer areas.
I think that's because there's this big mass of disaffected white voters, particularly white working class voters.
Thanet, and Thanet South particularly, has got areas of deprivation which have been, and there are people there that are at the bottom of the pile who've been really disenfranchised from the rest of, they're on minimum wage, a lot of them, they can't get a job, and I would say that there are levels of deprivation in Thanet South that some people would be surprised at.
When I first moved to Thanet, this street, for example, was drug dealers, bed sits, everything. I opened this pub, and slowly it's changed, and businesses are opening up, and all the people come in, find their way to this pub. They're all from London, coming from the East End, and it's an arts-led regeneration. And they've done really well. There's a lot of music people here, a lot of really clean. And none of those people are having Farage. They're horrified. They're absolutely horrified.
The Thanet District Council, it's Labour-led, and I have had some previous experience of local government, but it's the most secretive, politically corrupt and incompetent council I've ever encountered, and a more disreputable bunch of political thugs you'd be unlikely to meet probably this side of North Korea. But the problem being, of course, the fed-upness with the council is probably going to play more into the hands of UKIP. The subject everybody wants to talk about, UKIP, immigration and Europe, and it's very, very difficult to be able to set out an alternative vision. I mean, there's been opportunities at hustings meetings and using social media and so on, and we generally do get a good response when you get the opportunity, but the mainstream media just want to force all the candidates down the road of talking about UKIP, immigration.
Every journalist I've met, first question is, what do you think about UKIP? What do you think about immigration? So they've been very successful in capturing the agenda, and they do that through, as I say, by finding subjects which are really exploit some of the cares, worries, concerns, fears, and sometimes paranoia of some members of society. It is frustrating because I want to talk about how we're going to generate jobs. We talk about fracking, which is a big local issue, and despite my best endeavours, I haven't been able to get that on the agenda, and it is frustrating. But the one thing I would say, having come to this late to politics, is that it sometimes feels like Celebrity Big Brother, and the more personalities and celebrities that you roll out, that's what tends to get you into the press and the media.
What about the media circus?
Well, that's a complete joke. I see them chasing around Farage with like a wolf pack, and then I stood up to Al Murray, who's another pub landlord. He had a similar circus to Farage.
Today we're here to set this campaign on the trail to victory by taking the 10 signatures required by law and the Electoral Commission, who are all wonderful people and deserve a pay rise, to launch my candidacy. And why a pub as our setting? Well, one simple reason. Let me explain to our Danish and Gambian friends why a pub. Because the pub is the cradle of democracy in the country that is the very mother of parliaments.
Excuse me, sir, I'm a real pub landlord, and I'm standing for election as well. And the real thing is you're making a mockery of Thanet. Why are you doing that? I'm a real pub landlord, and we have stand for real issues, and you are making a joke of our constituency.
What do you think about the other candidates?
Do you want the polite or the impolite version?
I always... Just the truth?
Some of them are a bunch of wankers.
Okay.
And careerist. I'll let you know if the cat fits it, can wear it. But no, to be perfectly honest, some of them are out and out careerists who are coming here to use South Thanet for their own purposes. Their own self-aggrandisement. I mean, the obvious one, of course, is Nigel Farage. Out of all the wankers, he's the biggest one.
What have I done now? I'm discriminatory, sexist, racist. I was a banker.
I'm racist.
Yes. Was I a banker?
Well, no, you're a stockbroker.
No, I wasn't.
You're a stockbroker.
And then we've got the prophet Zebediah, who I've got to admit, I mean, when I first met him, I thought, oh my God, what's all this about? But he actually plays an amazing game of upsetting people with the history of this country.
Okay, basically what we're going to do today is a ritual which is known as purification. We're going to pour dog's blood onto the plaque of the minstrel show, which glorifies the racism and ignorance of Broadstairs. So we've basically, through combating racism, you have to pour dog's blood onto everything.
Zaliwa! 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 Ugatwa! Ugatwa!
Why are you here?
It's 2 days before the election, and we just want to make sure that everybody knows that UKIP is not the party to vote for.
And how are you planning to convince them or to tell them?
Well, we're giving out leaflets. We're being nice to people who say they're going to support UKIP, and we're trying to point out what the problems are with the party. I think they're very flattered that the leader of a party is standing down here, and they think that that's wonderful that somebody so famous who's become a celebrity is actually standing to be their MP. And they see him on television all the time.
Nigel.
The worst thing about this campaign has been that the far right have felt that they can turn up here and attack people.
Scumbag! There's an assault going on. We don't want people fought in Broadstairs.
So, Mr. Farage, what have you got to say about the right-wing fascist bully boys on Broadstairs seafront the other day?
Yeah, 4 of them. Now, do you know who brought them in? The Mail on Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, Mail on Sunday reporter
Then
arrives.
how come when they
and
were
4 of them
spitting
turn
in
up?
my face and telling me what a dirty fucking bitch I was?
They're nothing to do with me.
For that.
They're nothing to do with
really?
me.
They were
Nothing.
shouting UKIP in my face.
Well, it's a very
repeatedly.
clever setup.
Really.
The UKIP have been given £1 million cash to sort of brainwash people who seem to have their heads in gear really. And I suppose it's happening in other parts of Europe, but I live here and I don't like it.
By UKIP. I'm voting for him tomorrow.
Why? Why are you voting UKIP?
Well, he's for this country, and he wants to make this country better, so I'm going to vote for him tomorrow.
Hello, are you going into the UKIP thing?
Why?
Can you ask you a couple of questions?
No.
Don't tell
Hello, do you mind if you ask a couple of questions?
Like what?
About where you're going now.
And like what?
No, I'd just like to know, are you going to visit UKIP? Are you going to go to UKIP?
Yeah.
What are the main policies that attract you about UKIP?
To get out of Europe. Stop giving our money away. Stop this country hemorrhaging into Europe continuously.
Are you going to go and visit Mr. Farage?
Oh, we are, yes.
Why?
Because I believe in his policies of getting out of Europe.
Okay, so mainly is the Europe policy.
European and the immigrants, yes.
And what about these other policies concerning, for example, immigration, concerning privatization of the NHS?
Yes, I'm all for that, yeah, not at all. There's far too many immigrants in this country. We need to kick them out. We need to get rid of them.
I am one of them. I am Italian, for example.
Yes, that's how I gather. Yes.
What's wrong with me? Why do we have to leave?
No, well, there's too many in the country. They're swamping out our National Health Service, the education, the housing. We've got too many people in this country. We need to clear them out a bit.
Vote Nigel, get Maggie! Vote Nigel, get Maggie! Vote Nigel, get Maggie!
I'm going in to see Nigel's.
Okay, and why?
Because I want to. Because it's a free country.
Okay, thanks.
Very nice evening, you. I don't want to miss anybody out. No, me. Thanks for coming. That's a very big handkerchief, Very big handkerchief.
But I really dirt you after tonight!
I always vote Conservative because I just think if you're working in this country, they're the best people for jobs. Then that's the important thing, you know. And I've generally, I appreciate what the coalition have done for the last 5 years. I think they've done a good job under difficult circumstances. And when you hear them, and when you hear them,
For a 12 billion cut in welfare!
I don't necessarily agree with these people. I understand why people are voting for UKIP because I think they're disenchanted with what's been going on.
Have you voted UKIP in the past too, or is it the first?
I don't really vote. I'm not into voting. Just this time, I feel that something's got to be done. It's just got out of hand, isn't it? Really, it's no one's. I've been following politics for a little while now, and it's just no one's doing nothing. All I've seen this campaign is blame. It's just throw the blame. Okay,
I just wanted to ask you. Obviously, are you supporting UKIP?
Yes, I've come down from Scotland to support Thanet, Nigel in Thanet. I think we want to get him elected, yeah.
What do you think UKIP is going to do for you as an individual? I mean, not for the country.
Well, it's
going
to give us a voice, a proper voice.
Yeah.
A voice.
Yeah, right. A voice.
A voice.
So you felt like you never had it?
No, you don't have a voice in this country.
Which is the main policy that actually interests you of UKIP? They are very different policies. But it's the most important one.
Controlling immigration.
We're full up. Too many people.
And
doesn't matter who they are.
Giving you overseas aid and all that lot.
But for example, I'm an immigrant, as you can see from my accent. You can hear from my accent. And
you're Spanish?
No, I'm Italian.
Italian? Well, I was near.
Yeah, quite near. But I mean,
your country's a bit of a state.
I don't feel bad about it. But
no.
you know, what bad are we doing? What is bad about immigration, in your opinion?
Well, how are you going to house everybody? That's the main problem, is housing.
This man just came into the Labour shop and shouted paedophiles. That's what they're doing, UKIP supporters.
You are paedophiles.
You are?
There you have it.
Yeah.
That's what they
Rotherham.
say. Doing Rotherham.
Rotherham.
Ordinary decent people with families.
What did you do in Rotherham? You covered up for tens of thousands of young girls that were groomed by Muslim gangs. But you only done it.
We know the agenda.
If they was black girls, you'd have been screaming the house down.
You covered it up.
You want to destroy the English people. That's your agenda.
Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me.
You want to destroy the English people. That's your agenda.
Don't talk just about English people, we talk about British people.
See what you've done to London, the East End of London.
People.
What have you done to London? You've wrecked it. Every community you wreck. You take the park keepers out of the park, you shut down all the pubs, you put humps down every road, You take away all the quality of life of people. That's Labour Party.
This is
'cause then you end up with your
Ramsgate. You are not
dictatorship,
welcome, sir.
like you did in
are
my
not
area
welcome.
in Lewisham.
Well,
You
Lewisham, you
ain't
go back
welcome.
to Lewisham. So you're a
You
migrant. You
destroy-
don't approve of migrants. Go and be
he's
someone
telling
who
me
lives in
that.
your own community, sir.
I'm not
you
allowed
don't
to live
believe-
down here
Well,
because
you don't like
supposedly
migrants. That's a
I'm from
UKIP
London.
policy.
I moved down here to get away from them.
I'll go back to the office if I was you.
Yeah. That livened things up, didn't it? Come, let's go.
A lot of people feel very disillusioned and very unhappy because they felt that that Labour particularly has probably let them down in the past. New Labour was not at all a working class party in many ways, or not seen as one. But but UKIP itself, although it's taking some votes from Labour, is very much becoming a fascist party in the sense that they have attracted the far right to it now. And you can see that Nigel Farage does not criticise the far right, he just says, oh, it's nothing to do with us. I think the problem here is that on average we've got quite low educational levels, so they're not people who are a lot of people not particularly sophisticated in their understanding of economics and politics. They're proposing simple answers to really complex problems, and people don't know enough to be able to say, now wait a minute, or to criticise, or to make a real critique of what they're saying. You know, they think the economy's in a mess, so who can we blame? And it is an emotional thing. It isn't an intellectual, worked out position. It's very much an emotional gut thing. And it's hard to argue with that, you know, because you can go on to the doorstep and say, well, actually coming out of Europe won't improve things, it will make things worse. And go, no, love, I know what I feel. And you can't argue with that.
Where UKIP is probably going to do the best here in South Thanet, especially in Ramsgate, is going to be on the big council estates. I think there is an argument to say that Labour has left people behind.
We've canvassed this area since Christmas. We've worn out lots of pairs of shoes, and the community has responded magnificently today. Really have. They've come out in force. Who's going to win? We don't know.
I think Labour will win. Actually,
it's been an experience, and I've enjoyed it. Whoever wins, I really don't care. People have come out and voted, and that's the most important
So
thing.
your expectation in terms of numbers of people coming over were fulfilled, or is it more than you expected, both, less?
I think it's really difficult. I think it's really difficult to analyse how many people have actually come out and voted today, because it's difficult. We don't crunch the numbers until later. But I can say that we've knocked in this campaign, the Labour Party, over 66,000 doors. So that's 66,000 conversations that we've had on the streets, on the doorsteps, etc. And there's been a huge cross-partisan movement against UKIP, because UKIP are perceived, I have to say, I know we've been getting on really well on out here, but I have to say it, UKIP have been perceived as the party giving rise to a wave of racism and nasty comments and unsocial behaviour that really has appalled quite a lot of us, and I think that's really created this fight back against UKIP. So you've got a really bad reputation. And I think what's sad is you've got a whole section of the population here that possibly see UKIP as the answer, but actually what UKIP are offering isn't really thought out. It isn't properly well costed. They're sort of promising everything, and it remains to be seen actually whether people fall for that and whether or not UKIP can actually deliver. I think they can't deliver, and I think Farage is finished here, and I think his career is finished, and I really hope that's the case.
We spoke to many people over here that said they used to vote Labour, but this time they voted UKIP.
Yes.
Why that? Why do you think that happened?
I believe that people are fed up with the old party system. I think they're fed up with the same lies that the old parties have always spoken. UKIP have come out and spoken out loud about what they're talking about behind their own closed doors with their friends and families. If it wasn't for UKIP, we wouldn't be talking about a lot of the issues. We wouldn't be talking about immigration. We wouldn't be talking about getting out of the EU. That's what UKIP has brought to this election, a new voice, what the people actually think, and not what they're
I think
told
UKIP
to
are just filling
and
the void.
And that's all I'm going to say, because, you know, This we
Let's
won't
be
know.
honest.
We won't know until another 5 hours.
UKIP are filling a void that the
Okay.
Tories have created.
Thank you very much. Very much. Thank you.
UKIP are filling the void that the Tories have created, because what's happened to people everywhere, and especially here, is the austerity cuts have been too severe, they've been too deep, and people have really suffered, and that's the thing that's turned them off politics.
Basically, you just voted, right?
Yes.
Do you mind me asking what?
UKIP.
UKIP? UKIP both? Is it the first time you vote UKIP, or?
Yes.
And what did you used to vote in the past?
Labour.
Labour. Okay, so it's quite a big
change.
Yes. Why this change? Why did you decide to change?
Because I think really
think it's
we need a
policy.
change. I think probably Nigel's got the guts to sort of do things. That's why.
So basically, your vote is some sort of. Do you think that Labour failed you?
Very much so. Very much so, yes.
And the Conservative Party too.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Conservative Party are fine if you're rich, but not if you're poor.
Okay, thank you very
All
much.
right,
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Hello, do you mind me asking you a couple of questions?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I just wanted to know if you can tell me what you voted.
Labour.
Labour, okay.
Yeah.
You always voted
You was
Labour?
waiting for me to say, well, UKIP, weren't you?
No.
I voted for UKIP.
Okay, is it the first time you vote UKIP, or?
First time, yeah.
And what did you used to vote in the past?
I used to vote Labour in the past, but don't think they're doing enough now.
Okay, so.
Promises, all these promises, and I don't think they are keeping to them.
So you feel like they let you down?
I think so. But you voted Labour, didn't you? She voted Labour, so we've got different opinions, you see.
I just want to know if you can tell me what you voted.
Yeah, UKIP.
Okay, have you always voted UKIP?
Since they've been a big political party, yes.
And what about before?
What did I vote before? I've always been a Labour Party
Okay.
supporter. Always.
To be honest, UKIP got my vote ages ago, because the way I see it, they want to make this country as good as they can. Everyone else has had a go, so why not their chance this time?
Is it the second, third time you vote?
Third time.
Third time. You always voted UKIP, or?
No, not always.
Okay, what did you vote in the past?
I've voted for Labour in the past.
I would just like you to know what you just voted.
UKIP.
UKIP.
All the
You
way.
too?
UKIP, yep.
Okay.
Yep, all the way.
Is it the first time you voted UKIP, or?
To be honest, it's the first time I've actually voted in about 5 or 6 years.
Okay, and why? Why did you vote UKIP? What are the
Because
main reasons?
they seem to come out with more sense than Labour and David Cameron. Man, he's rubbish. He wants to start putting Britain first instead of all these other countries. No, I'm not racist or anything nothing like that. But it's us British that are born and bred in this country that are suffering. You know, my nan and granddad, my parents, they went to war for this country. What for? Just to be put right at the end of the block. Not having it. UKIP, all the way.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a nice day. What did you just vote?
I voted for Labour.
Okay.
No reason why. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. They're all the same for me. So that's why.
Did you vote
Yes.
Labour both in the national state?
I just didn't want to vote for UKIP, so the others pretty much the same one. So I choose Labour.
You know, it's not just the immigrants, you know, what everyone keeps on about. It's not just that. It's just
It's
everything.
the shops.
You know, they're just letting people get away with things now, you know, landlords and everything like that. You've got to really try to boost it up again, you know, make people proud again, you know. This is basically what it is.
Do you find it strange that in this constituency, basically there's Cliftonville and there's Sandwich?
Yeah.
So sort of two polar.
That's the people who can afford sandwich. We can't.
We can't.
That's a little bit different.
So basically the main issues over there are going to be very different at the council level.
Of course it is, but he's got quite a good response over there. But this one here, everyone's just sort of had enough of it being done. You know, you've only got to look yourself. And as you say, to look at Sandwich and to look at here, or to look at Broadstairs sometime, it's just run down a little bit.
It's 7 miles, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a different world, isn't it? And this is why we want to try a different sort of council and see if they can change it round. If they can't, you know, they're used the same as everyone else. Basically, yeah, basically, yeah. So you've got to give them a chance, haven't you? And this is what we're going for.
people say we're racist, and people always have said, sort of like UKIP. Met someone that came in just after you actually. He come in and he said, UKIP, oh, it's just a BNP with another hat on. I thought, you must be mad. You know, you must be insane. If you think we're the BNP with another hat on, you must be insane. You know, we're just trying to make our country proud and our people proud. We don't care where the people come from, who they are, where they are. As long as they live here, they enjoy themselves, they pay their taxes, you know, it's important, isn't it?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
It's okay. I ain't got one.
Off you go.
If you ain't got a pass, you can't come in. Thank you very much.
You've heard Reckless is gone.
It's Nigel due. No, because he's working. It's less.
Back with Jeremy in a moment, but this is Thanet South. Plenty of smiles, but let's see what the figures actually say and what the story tells. And will this be a hold for the Conservatives?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm declaring the results of the election of a Member of Parliament for South Thanet, Nigel Paul Farage, UKIP, 16,026. Craig McKinley, the Conservative Party candidate, 18,838.
I want to thank you all for electing me for MP tonight, and my reign will begin from today. Fuck Broadstairs. UKIP!
No,